to GMS Connect Training. My name is Ashley Perkey. I'm an HR account manager here at GMS, and I'm going to be walking you through some of the new great fun features that we have on our new HR payroll system. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to the group management page. So it's just www.groupmgmt.com. And if you have it saved in your favorites, you may need to resave the page or clear out your history so that way you have the new updated page. So when you see the page, it should look like this. We're going to go to the login function, and you should have the drop-down menu that says Worksite Manager, Employee Self-Service. We're going to select Worksite Manager, and this is what your page should look like. So we're going to go to GMS Connect, and this is what our new login page is. So we are going to use the same username and password that we're currently using. And this will also actually be the same username and password that you'll use to access your own personal information as well. So you only have to remember one username and password moving forward. And you'll just click sign in, and it's going to take you to our home screen. So hopefully you guys are as excited about this as we are. We love the new home screen. It's got a lot of great features to it. We've got our toolbar up here at the top. My Company gives you all the great features about your company, so anything related to it. My Employees gives you anything related to your employees. And My Payrolls gives you anything related to your payroll. We also have a reports function up here. These are pre-created reports for you. You just select whatever report you want and select your date range, and it will pull that report for you. We also have a favorites feature now. To start, you can click on it when you're on any page, and it'll pull up anything that you've saved as a favorite. We also have a search bar function. You can type in anything that you want, that you're looking for. It'll pull it up for you. You simply click on it, and it's going to pull it up for you. If you ever want to get back to the home page, you can just come over here to this GMS Connect logo, click on it. It's going to take you right back to your home page.
So on our dashboards here, we have My Favorites, and these are great because you can actually customize these to add or delete anything that you want. So if it's something that you utilize often, you can access it right here. So we've already added new hire on here. So if you just click on it, it's going to take you right to the new hire function. If you ever realize, oh gosh, I don't need this as a favorite, you can always delete them. You just come over here to our live action menu, click on it, and you're going to hit remove from favorites. And if you ever decide that you want to add something to your favorites, same thing, you can come over to the live action menu, click add to favorites, and it's going to add it to your favorites right over here. We also have your support team. So this is going to show you who your payroll processor is, your HR account manager, if you have benefits, your benefits account manager, and also who your sales rep was. Over in the left-hand bottom corner, we have your recent payrolls. So this is going to allow you to access anything related to your previous payrolls. You just click on whichever payroll you're interested in viewing, and it'll take you into it. And anytime you see something underlined like this, it's going to allow you to deep dive into it. It'll open a different page. And then there's also this My Employee section where it's a quick route to get to any of your employees. So if you wanted to look at an employee, you just click on their name, and it's going to pull up their employee details information. So the most important thing is probably our payroll. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that and walk through how we're going to start entering payroll from right now. So you can actually either go through this timesheet entry, or we can go through our search bar. So the search function is great. All you do is just start typing in whatever you're looking for. So we're going to look for our timesheet, and it'll pull it right up. And you just click on it, and it's going to pull up. Oh, sorry, I hit timesheet report. It's going to pull up your timesheet where you can enter your payroll. So it'll bring you to this screen. It's going to show you whatever batch is open. You just click on your batch. And this is what our new payroll is going to look like. So there's a couple different features on here. There's some quick help tools over here. This is going to allow you to, the eyeball icon is going to allow you to hide or unhide columns that might be on your payroll. So let's say that you don't want to see some of these extra columns right now. You just want to look at adding your hours. You can just click on them, and it will take it will hide those for you. You can also look at, so it just hides them just like that, and then if you need them back, you can just unclick on them and hit the eyeball again, and they will show right back up for you. This icon will actually allow you to import pay data from a file. So if you like to download your payroll, you can just do that right here and import it. Sorry, we're buffering. This is going to be our statistics. So this allows you to compare your current payroll with previous payrolls. So if you're wanting to look at, you know, if you've paid, your salaries have gone up on this payroll, or if you just like to do comparisons, that'll be right here. You can also view your timesheet entry detail report. So this is going to allow you to look at your report as a whole. There's also a search function here. So if you want to search for a specific employee, you can just type in their name and it will highlight them on your sheet for you. And then there's also the filter the timesheet, so you can display it however you want. So if you want to change it so it only shows you office workers, or if you want it to show all, you just pick whatever filter that you want to utilize, apply, and it will change it for you. So on our timesheet, we have our employee ID numbers and then our employees' names, and it's going to pre-populate whatever their regular pay rate is right here for you. If for some reason that you need to go in and change their pay rate, you can do that from right here. You just click on their name and it's going to pull up their detailed timesheet entry. This is where you can go in and change different items. So right now this employee already has some regular hours put in and some overtime. So if we want to update their regular hours, you can do that here, or you can actually do that on this main screen as well. So let's say they did actually work 40 hours, and then they also had 5 hours of overtime. And then, so you just input those into the columns, but then you're like, oh goodness, you know, they had 7 hours of overtime. You can either change that here, or you can just click on the employee detail and click on the column that it was and change the hours paid right here. And just hit save. So any changes that you make on here, you're going to hit save. This is also great because it shows you exactly what their hours worked were, what the pay rate was, and how much their gross pay is for those hours. So if you also wanted to make sure that they got an expense reimbursement or something like that, you can also add that on in here. So you'll just make sure this is highlighted to new entry. And you can either type in the pay code if you know what it is, or you can click on this menu and it'll pull up all your pay codes. So let's say they had vacation hours. We'll input their vacation hours, 16, and hit save, and it's going to pull up vacation hours to their regular pay rate. And so once you've got everything done on this detailed timesheet, you can just hit return, and it's going to take you back to your main timesheet. And you'll see that every change that we just made is on their line. So you've got your regular hours column, your overtime hours column. This client is set up to actually have miles reimbursement. There will be some customized fields if you have specific either extra earnings or extra deductions that are taken out often. Those columns will be here, so these might be customized for you. And then it also shows you your employees' gross pay. And then there are these other two great functions right here. So other earnings is right here, and so anytime you see this green dot, it means that there's something entered for that employee. So this employee has other earnings. So if you click on it, you can see that they actually have a commission entered right here. And so let's say that we also want to add a additional other earning for them. You can just click on this plus sign and pull up whatever pay code that you're looking for. So let's say we're going to give them an expense reimbursement, and I'll pull that up right there for you. And you can do their expense reimbursement start date, so we'll just do today. And you can either put in a time frame and a deduction period. So if we want it to run, for this payroll, we can just actually put in the time frame, hit active, hit the amount. So let's say it's $50, and we want to move it to our timesheet. We'll just hit save, and we will see this on her timesheet. So you'll see other earnings, and now it's right here for you. Same thing with other deductions. So this is if they have a deduction that we want to take out from their paycheck. The process works pretty much the same. You'll come on here. This one already has the supplies in here. Hit the plus sign, pick your deduction code. So let's do tools. And you can actually set it up as active, which means you want it to set it up as reoccurring, or you can do one time. So let's set this one as active. The amount, let's say it's $10, and we want to start it now and let it run for a month. And we'll just hit save, and that's going to set up a reoccurring deduction for this employee. And you can always double check to make sure it's in there and that it's going to run just like you want it to. There we go. So we've done our hours, our overtime for this employee. We've made sure they've got their deductions and their reimbursements back. And this employee is actually a salaried employee. So the green dot right here means that they're a salaried employee. Their hours will be pre-populated for you. If for some reason you need to edit their hours, let's say they took a vacation day, you change their hours, it's actually going to let you know that you've changed their salary hours. And the dot will change to yellow. So if you need it to revert back to their 40 hours, you can click on that dot and just hit yes, and it'll change them back to 40. So once you've double checked your payroll, you've looked at everything, you feel good about it, you're actually going to come right down here and hit finalize. And this is going to actually submit your payroll. So once you feel good about it, everything's in, you're going to hit finalize. It's going to submit your payroll for you. And it's going to send it to your payroll processor. When your preview is available, you'll receive an email notification, and you can actually, then you'll go to the payroll approval on your favorites menu or by using the search bar. So payroll. Come on. You can also go into the My Payroll, and it'll be a function there as well. All right, so it should pull up your payroll for you. Maybe. Hold on. Let me go back. Maybe I didn't hit the finalize button. Let's walk back just a second. Finalize. And then my payroll. And again, payroll approval. All right, well, it should be showing our payroll right here. It should show our payroll, and then it should also show our reports through for us. And then once we're ready to approve our payroll, we should be able to hit submit, and that's going to do our final approval for us. If there's anything that you do need to change on your payroll, let your payroll processor know, and they'll help walk you through that. So if you go back to your home screen, your actual payroll will show up right down here under recent payrolls. You can click on it and you can find all of your reports, and it will walk you through everything that you need and want to view for your payroll. You can download your reports right here, so you can open them and download them, and they'll show up right here for you. So hopefully payroll feels pretty intuitive, pretty easily. Let's also start looking at our employees. So something that, oh, actually, I'm sorry. There were a couple other things with payroll that are different things that we want to make sure that we highlight for you guys. So there's also, we know a lot of clients utilize projects. So let's take a look at projects. You can go to My Company and just pull up projects, or you can also look for it in the search bar. And let's say we're adding we can look at our current projects that we have running, or let's say that we're adding a project. So let's say that we're adding a car wash. Oh, I may not. And the great functions of the new system, it will tell you if something doesn't work. So let's say we're adding a car wash. You can just add your project and your description, car wash on Main Street. You can also decide if it's a federal or state contract and you need a certified payroll, you can click on this option right here, and it'll let you put in the details that you need for that certified payroll. Once you've got whatever options that you need in here, you can hit save, and car wash will be an option that you can assign an employee to. We also utilize worksite locations. So that's also an option here under this My Company tab. Just click on worksite locations and you can add these as well. So you can pull up all your current location codes or you can create a new one. So let's add Charlotte and Charlotte Airport. If you guys can't tell, I'm in the Charlotte area. 123 Main, and then it will ask for the zip code 28217, and it'll pull up your geo code. If there are multiple cities that are attached to that zip code, it will pull up a drop-down menu and you will need to select it. You'll also just want to make sure that the workers' comp state is correct, and that anything that's red highlighted like this is a required field. So you'll just want to make sure those are filled out, otherwise it will tell you that those are missing. You just hit save, and that location should be added here in our locations. Should be on the there it is, Charlotte Airport. So you can select it and you can actually assign an employee to that work location now. All right, so again, let's go to My Employees, and we're going to actually look at our employee details. So you can again find that through either My Employees, you can find it through your search bar, or you can also save it to your favorites. So we're going to pull up an employee, and we're going to look at, you can either go through that search function like that, or you can just start typing in their name, and it will pull them up for you. So this is my good friend Nancy White. I feel like I see her a lot in here. So on this main screen for your employee details, it's going to pull up their main information, so their name, and then it's also going to tell you some information about their employment. So it's showing that this person is active, their employment type is full-time, their position code or their workers' comp code is admin, clerical. It's also going to tell you their hire date and their original hire date and their last hire date. If you need to change any of these for any reason, you can actually do this right here on this front screen. You can click on this paper and pen icon and it's going to allow you to edit. So you can change their status in here. So let's say they are on a leave of absence, you can change that. You can change their employment type. So if they're going from full-time to part-time, you can do that here as well. And we also try and make sure you put in a reason, so that way you just have that record, and also the date that it's effective. You can also change the workers' comp code here. So if it's a position change, you can just pick the new position in here. So all of your codes should be already preloaded. So let's say we're moving her to a trucker. You can change that right there. New position date, say it started today, for whatever and what the reasons are, and just hit save, and that will change. That will change their specific coding. You can also look at their personal information. So this will show you their veteran status, their marital status, those types of things that were entered when you first hired them. You can also look at address. So if you need to update their address, you can do that right here. If they have a different mailing address from their home address, anything like that. You can also look at their work status. So that information is in here as well. Pay is going to allow you to view their pay rate and then also edit it. So you can see right now that this person's paid biweekly on a salary basis, and it's got their last effective pay rate and what the pay rate is broken down annually, monthly, hourly. And if you need to edit it for any reason, you can click on this edit icon and it'll allow you to enter a new pay rate. So let's say that we want to enter her new pay rate. Right now she gets paid $58 per hour. Let's say we want to bump it up to $60. We're going to put in $60 per, And make sure you do select the right period over here. We've had, you don't want to put in 1,000 over here and you mean for it to be weekly and you accidentally put hourly. You're going to give somebody a really great pay raise. She's already a hourly employee, so it's going to auto-populate her, or I'm sorry, salaried employee. It's going to auto-populate her 80 hours per week. And it's going to auto-pay for her time card because she is a salaried employee. The effective date, we'll just go ahead and make it today. And whatever the reason is, so let's say it's our annual review, hit save. And it's going to submit it for approval. You come back to your main screen and it will be calculating it on here. Let's see, let's hit save and see if it updates. It should be updating. Wait, let's go back into her pay. Okay, and in the live environments, it will update for you. On here, we also have their tax information. So you can see their state filing and their federal filing. So if someone needs to update their information, you can actually do that in here. Deposit, it's also going to show you their direct deposit information. And we do actually have the ability to change that now. You also can go to your other tab, and there will be some additional information in here that'll be in our phase 2 for these employees. So we've got some functions updated and active now, and then some will be coming later. You can also, this is a great new feature, you can also upload pictures of your clients. So Nancy White looks a lot like Oprah. You can just click upload and you can choose a file and it'll allow you to add their picture. So that's just a great new feature for you, especially if you have remote workers, so you can kind of just remember what they look like. You can also, over here in our live action menu, there's a couple other features as well. If you want to look at their pay stubs, so that's obviously something I know we get a lot of, somebody needs their pay stubs, you can just come over here to payroll vouchers and click on that. Click on whichever voucher you need to look at. And this is going to give you all their pay information. So if you click on pay, it'll show you what their hours worked were, deductions, any deductions that were taken from their paycheck, so 401k in uniform. If they have benefits, any benefits will show on here. So this person's enrolled in the 401k. And then if you want to actually see their specific paycheck stub that we currently, similar to what we currently have, you'll click on this banking function and hit reprint check stub. It's going to take it a second to pull the check stub. Give it just a second. I think my pop-up blocker's on, I'm sorry. And that's something that you'll also need to be aware of, is just if your pop-up blocker's on, it may not show things. So you just want to make sure that you do enable it to allow pop-ups. And so this is our check stub. It looks pretty similar. I think it's almost exactly similar to what we have currently. And so those will pull up for you. Also, we have this PTO function. Will show them what their PTO was, their paid time off taken. So we can close that and close that. And then another great function is, I know it's tax season, and I'm sure everybody's got that one employee that's waiting till the last minute to do their taxes and realizes they've lost their W-2. You can also come into this live action menu, go to reprint form W-2, pull up their W-2, and you'll hit run and it'll pull it up the same way. This one doesn't have any loaded for right now, but it'll do the same thing for you. So we've gone through their W-2s, their check stubs. We also, let's take a look at, we want to hire a new employee. So you're growing and you've got some new hires coming on board. We've got new hire saved here under my favorites. You can also find new hire in the toolbar. And this is what our new hire screen looks like now. So everything's actually all on one page now. It's a great, it's much simpler to use. Anything highlighted in red is going to be a required field. And so you just want to make sure that you're inputting whatever information that we have for this employee. The more thorough we are in putting information, the better it'll be when it comes to pulling different reports for you and just information in the computer system. So as you're entering things in here, please utilize the tab key, so that way you'll make sure you hit all the red reports, because there are some items over here on the left and over here on the right, and you want to make sure that you don't miss anything. We also hire type, everybody will be an employee W-2, because all of our employees are on our payroll and will receive a W-2. We also want to try and make sure we're inputting the I-9 information, so that field's right there for you. And this is something new, something great that's an option now, is that you can input your direct deposit information. So when you're inputting direct deposit information, you're just going to hit active and whatever type of pay it may be. So if they only have one account, they want everything to go in it, you'll just select regular, vacation, and supplemental. Or if they have multiple accounts and they want to switch it between the different ones, you can pick what option equates to what they want. And then you'll just come down here, select your account type. So let's say it's a checking. You can input the checking number. We do also have some regular, very commonly used routing numbers in here. You can select whatever that one is, enter in your account number. And if it's for all pay types or regular, vacation, you can select that override right there. Also the method, so if somebody wants a fixed percentage or a fixed amount, a percentage, the full balance, whatever that amount is, if it is a specific balance. And then over here, you're going to select deposit active. If you're entering your employees a couple days before payroll will actually run, you can select the pre-note option, and that'll allow us to double check that the account number is active. But if you are doing it pretty close to the payroll, like within a day or two, just go ahead and hit deposit active. That'll make their first check a direct deposit. So we do want to make sure that we're inputting this information. If for some reason you're not feeling comfortable, ask your payroll processor. They'll walk through the process with you again and or help support you through entering this. Also make sure you're entering that form federal W-4 information. So that is down here. And once you've entered that, it will pull up the state, and it's going to pull up to whatever state was entered in up here. So let's say you do Ohio. Just a second, let me get one entered in. So we're pulling up Ohio up here. It's going to pull the resident state form for Ohio. So you'll just put in whatever their information is. So if you're in Ohio, if you have someone in New Jersey, whatever state they live in, it's going to pull for that state. Once you've got everything entered in, you'll just hit save, and it'll tell you that it was sent for approval. So we've hired our new employee, and as soon as we hire them and they're approved or made active, they're actually going to pull right to your timesheet, which is great. And they will actually fall into our timesheet in alphabetical order. So if that person's last name was Smith, they're going to pull up right here, right above Nancy. Which is different. Before, I think that they were falling to the bottom. Now they're going to actually pop up right at the top for us. So let's say, unfortunately, we've hired some people. Well, now we need to let someone go. You know, it's just the nature of our business. We can also terminate our employees. So we're going to go to My Employees, Employee Termination. We'll pull up whatever the employee is that we want to terminate. So let's say we're going to terminate Nancy. And we're going to select terminated, and then whatever the reason might be. So let's say it was absenteeism, whatever the termination date is, and if they're okay to rehire. So let's say no, they're not. We don't want them back because they've not been working. And then if you, for some reason, if you need them to come in and pick up their last check, you want it to be a live check, you'll click this box. If not, you'll just leave it blank. So the auto default is that it will still stay on direct deposit, which I think is a change from the current system. And then down here in the termination explanation, please put as much detail as possible. That'll just help us as we fight unemployment claims if something does come through. So let's say that she no-called, no-showed on 3/12, 3/13, and 3/14, and then was tardy on 3/1 and 3/2. And you'll just save that in here in your notes, and that will terminate her in the system. And so let's go back to our home screen. So we've talked through how you can hire, how you can terminate. So let's say that we want to keep notes on our employees in here. So we currently have event codes that we've been using, and we still have that function in here as well. So let's go into an employee, and let's look at our employee events. So this is where you can log different things that the employee might be doing. So we're going to go ahead and add an event. So let's say the event happened yesterday. The event code, you can either create a new one or use something that's in here. So let's say they got a Google review. And they got the Google review yesterday, and positive customer Google review. And just hit save, and that's going to add, oh, the event date is missing in row 4. We'll just add that for them. And that's going to add it into our event log. So if we go back in here to our employee events, it's now here. If for some reason you entered something and you realized you entered it on the wrong employee or it actually wasn't accurate, you can also always delete. You just come in here, hit the X button, and it'll delete it for you. And just make sure anytime that you're doing work in here, you hit save, and that'll save your changes. Otherwise, when you go back in, anything that you did will not have changed. So this is where, though, again, you can log anything that you basically want to keep a record of for the employee. So anything positive, anything negative, keep those records in here. Again, we can also pull these when it comes time to, if we have to fight like unemployment cases, for things like performance reviews. It's just a great place to keep those information logs. There's also another function here under live actions. It's called employee notes. And this is where you can actually write yourself notes about your employee. So like if you need to make sure that they have a deduction taken out of their paycheck, you can put that in here, so that way when payroll time comes, you can actually access that on the timesheet and see, oh yeah, I forgot to take out their $10 for their tools this week, and it'll alert you to do that. So I think that is everything that we wanted to talk through. I'm just double checking my notes. Oh, nope, that's not it. Okay. So there's also a couple other great features in here. There's also something called employee documents. If you go to your live action menu and go to documents, this is actually where you can upload documents specific to that employee. So let's say they had a performance review, you want to load it, you'll just come here, click on load a document, you'll upload whatever the document is, and it's going to pull it. Let me see if I can pull something. Let me see, let me upload that. Sorry, let me see if I can, here we go, we'll upload this. All right, well, if it does work, for some reason my computer's not working with, oh, there it goes. So it's going to have your documents right here where they're loaded, and it'll tell you what the document is. You can add a note about the document and the date it was attached. And if you want to delete a document for whatever reason, you can just delete it right here. And if for some reason, when you load the document, there's going to be the option to make it visible for the employee. It's going to say ESS, and it's going to have a little box. And if you check that box, that means that that document is going to be visible to the employee. So if you need to make something that the employee can see, you can just check that box and they'll be able to see it. We also have our client documents, and that's where you can save anything like your handbook, any of those items. You can do that right here. If I can type. So it's called company documents in the new system. But same thing, load a document, it'll ask you to upload it, and then anything that's a company document will automatically be visible to the employees. So you can upload those right here. Let's go back to our home screen. So let's take a look at our reports that we have. So all of our payroll reports will be saved down here under our recent payrolls. We've also got all the pre-populated reports here. So these are already built, and you just click on whatever one you want and it'll pull the report information for you. Or you can create a custom report. So you can go to your search bar and just type in data. It's going to pull up the data retriever. So our data retriever is going to pull up the screen, and it should have some fields in it. There it goes. All right, so if you have multiple companies under GMS, they'll all show up here. You just select which one you want. We've just got one loaded, so it'll say GMS Demo. You'll just click on this to add it, and then you'll add whatever fields that you're looking for to be added to your report. So let's say we want our employees' names. And anytime you see this plus sign, there's more options below. So let's say we don't want all of this. We just want their last name, first name, middle name. That's all we want. And then let's say we want to get their mailing addresses. We want all the mailing address options and their federal tax filing information. And we want their gross pay as of today. You'll just hit run. It's going to tell you the report's processing. And it's going to pull your report up right here for you. So it's got all the fields that we selected, and it's going to show you all that information. So it's great. You can create any customized report that you can think of. If it's in there, if it's an option, it's in there. If there's something that you're like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for, you can get with your HR account manager or your payroll processor, and we'll help you build it or figure out exactly what information you need in order to make that report work. You can also export your report. It'll move it right into Excel for you. So that option is great as well, and it's so easy to use. There's also a couple of help features on here, so if you get stuck on something, they are great. So let's say that you're in a new hire, you're not 100% sure what you want to put in a different column. You just click on this little word cloud with a question mark, and it is going to give you help information specific to whatever page you have open. So you don't have to type into a search bar, you don't have to like hunt through a menu. It's everything that's specific to the page that you're on. Also, if there's this video, that means that there's a how-to video available as well. So you can click on that, it'll pull up the video, and it'll walk you through whatever step you're on. There's also this little person right here. So something that's great about the new system is that it's going to allow us to only have one login. So whatever login you're using as the company, you also can use as your personal login. So you'll just click on this little person, and where it says My ESS, this is where you can go in and view your own personal information. So this is what the employee website looks like now. So we're in here as Frank Footer, and your dashboard will look like this. You can see your personal information, so employee overview, it'll tell you your name, address. If you need to update your personal details, you can do that here as well. So if you need to update your nickname, marital status, emergency contact address, any of that stuff, you can change that right there. My documents. If there was a document that we as the company uploaded and made visible to the employee, those will show right here. So again, the employee will have access to anything that you check that box that says ESS. You can also change your password. That's great, that's new. And it walks you through what type the password has to look like. You can also go to the home. You can view your time. So if you have paid time off, it'll walk you through the paid time off, what's carryover, accrued, taken, available. all that information. You can also view your benefits. So if you have our benefits or the 401k, all that information's in here. And probably what's most important is payroll for our employees. They can view and update their tax settings here. And they can also view their check history here. And it'll allow them to click on the check and see a little bit more detail. And then if they clicked on this, any of these, open up this window and hit reprint check stub, that's going to allow them to pull up their check stub. So again, it'll take it a second, but it'll pull up the check stub that we're familiar with, the same one that we've had previously. Ooh, went too far back, sorry. There it goes. There's also a payroll inquiry, so they can just look at more specifics. This is showing for the year. They can view their direct deposit information. They are not able to change their direct deposit information right now, but that is available right there. And then the W-2 reprint, they can also view their reprint or their W-2s here. So if they've had multiple years with us, all their W-2s will be here selected in a drop-down menu. And everything from the old system has been loaded into the new system for them. So that's the employee self-service. Back to their password, something that's new with the new system, and I forgot to mention it with the new hire. The email address is a required field now, the personal email address, because it's going to actually allow us to give them the ability to change their password. So I'm sure everybody's had those clients, or I'm sorry, those employees that have been like, I forgot my password, I don't remember how to get in. Well, they can just click on that forgot my password option, and it's going to send the reset your password email to their personal email that they've inputted in here. So we want to make sure that we are putting an accurate personal email address in there for them. Let's see. So I think those are the main functions that we wanted to make sure that we walked through and covered. I'm going to unmute to allow for some questions. If people have questions, feel free to ask. I know there's been some moving through the chat feature as well.
I think it's a great system too.
Me too. Fantastic.
So we also wanted to let everybody know kind of what our next steps are. So after we log off of this training, you'll receive an email just to follow up with you to see how comfortable you feel, and then also with just like a user guide for you guys to use. If you feel comfortable, your HR account manager will then get you set up to be converted over to the new system and run your payroll on it. So that's kind of what the next steps are. If you're not feeling comfortable, let us know, and we will either get you back on another training or see if we can do a couple of sidebars just to help get you squared away with that. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. You can unmute yourself. If you just go under attendee, that you should be able to click the unmute button. I have everybody muted right now just for the background, but everybody should be able to unmute themselves. And then also, what payroll period will this be implemented? So it just depends on your comfort level. So once you feel comfortable with it, let us know and we'll implement it for, we'll get you set up to be moved live. So if you're feeling comfortable after today, there'll be an email sent out, just let them know. Caitlin will then get you set up to be moved over to the new system on the next payroll that works for you. So again, just let us know how you're feeling with it. Let your HR account manager know. We can either get you back on another group training, or if there's feeling really uncomfortable, we can try and find a different option for you as well. Current employees pre-populated into the new software. Yes, so all current employees are going to be pre-populated into the new software. We're actually going to import everything over from your current payroll. So everything that's in there right now will be moved over as well. Your username and password won't change. They'll actually be the same as they are currently. So anybody that has admin access, that will still be their username and password. And all employees will also have the same. We thought that would be the easiest way to get everybody moved over to the new system, so everybody's username and password will remain the same. These are some good questions, guys. And again, like we said, everything will be sent out in a follow-up email. There will be a different link that'll be utilized. So if you have something saved under your favorites or on your toolbar or bookmarks, just know that you will need to update that. And employees will still access the employee self-service the same way that they have. The group management website has already been updated with the new link, but you may need to clear your browsing history to make sure that the new page pulls up. So it's going to be that group mgmt.com. Let's see actually if I can get it to pull up. I think I've cleared mine out. Yep, you can go right to the group MGMT login, and the employees will do it right here, employee self-service login. Anybody that's on the new system will just hit GMS Connect. If you're still on the old system, you'll use the legacy option. If you're trying to log in as the manager, you'll just do Worksite Manager login, and same thing, GMS Connect, or if you're still on the old system for right now, you'll do the payroll employer login. All right, guys, well, I think that's it. It looks like that most of the questions have been answered. Again, if you have additional questions, please let us know. We'll answer those for you. And we will be sending out an email to follow up with you guys soon. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a great day, guys.